My precious one, the kindness of heaven wraps around you like a gentle river of light, flowing into the quiet corners of your soul, where sorrow once tried to take root. I see you when your heart trembles in silence, when you feel unseen in a crowd, and when you fight battles that no one else can see. I have counted every tear. I have walked beside you through every lonely valley, and I have never let go of your hand, not even when you thought I had. You are my beloved, the treasure of my heart, the creation of my love, and the reason I continue to whisper peace into the chaos that surrounds you. When the world turns its back on you, I stand before you with open arms, not to judge, but to remind you that grace has already covered what you fear will never be enough. You are not a mistake, not forgotten, not too broken to be made whole again. Every scar upon your spirit tells a story of endurance, a story that heaven itself admires, for I have seen how you rise even when the weight of despair tries to hold you down. When the morning light touches your face, know that it is my way of saying, you are still here for a reason. Each breath you take carries purpose, and every moment, no matter how small, is woven into my divine plan for your life. You may not understand the storms that have come, the doors that have closed, or the people who walked away, but none of it is wasted. I am the author of your story, and even the darkest chapters are written with the ink of redemption. The pain that once broke you will one day become the strength that carries others to hope. Do not fear the silence, for it is there that I speak most tenderly. When you cannot hear me, listen to the rhythm of your own heart, for I dwell there, keeping time with every beat, whispering, you are mine, you are loved, you are safe. You have asked me why the journey has been so hard, and I tell you this. Every trial is shaping you into something radiant. The pressure you feel is not meant to destroy you, but to refine you, to draw out the gold that I placed within your soul before the beginning of time. There are seasons where the soil must break before life can grow again, and so it is with you, my beloved one. Trust the process even when you cannot see the end. The night may be long, but dawn always follows. I am already walking ahead of you, preparing paths where there once were walls, creating opportunities out of ashes, and breathing new life into dreams you thought were gone forever. When you look in the mirror and see only your flaws, remember that I see beauty, beauty born from endurance, faith, and the courage to keep believing even when it hurts. The world may measure your worth by what you achieve, but I measure it by how you love, how you forgive, how you continue to rise with hope still flickering in your chest. You are not defined by your past mistakes, by the words of others, or by the failures that haunt your memory. You are defined by the love I poured into you, the light I placed within you, and the destiny I designed for you long before your first breath. Let go of the guilt that clings to your spirit, for I have already set you free. Walk in the freedom that comes from knowing you are completely, unconditionally, eternally loved. There will be days when the road feels endless, when prayers seem unanswered, and faith feels fragile. In those moments I am not far away, I am right beside you, holding you through every unseen battle. You do not have to be strong alone, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Lean into me, let your weary heart rest, and allow my peace to fill every trembling corner of your soul. I will carry you when your feet can no longer move forward. I will be your song when words fail, your shelter when storms arise, your comfort when loneliness whispers lies. You are never walking through darkness alone, for I am the light that will always find you. Look around you, my precious one, at the sky, the trees, the gentle breeze that brushes against your face. These are my reminders that I am still here. Every sunrise declares my faithfulness. Every bird that sings tells you that life continues because I sustain it. Even in your pain, I am weaving beauty. Even in your loss, I am preparing restoration. What was once shattered will be made whole, not as it was before, but more radiant, more full of grace, more alive with purpose. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will be worth it. Every step you take in faith, no matter how small, moves you closer to the fullness of the life I have prepared for you. So lift your eyes, my beloved. Do not let fear hold your gaze to the ground. The storms will pass, the shadows will fade, and what will remain is the light of my love, steadfast, unchanging, eternal. Trust that I am working in ways beyond your understanding, that even now angels are surrounding you, guiding you, protecting you. I have heard every prayer, even the ones wrapped in silence. I have seen every act of kindness you thought went unnoticed. Nothing escapes my sight, and nothing can separate you from my love. When doubt creeps in, remember that faith is not the absence of fear, but the courage to believe in me despite it. I know how your heart longs for peace, how your soul craves purpose, and how your spirit hungers for truth. I am the answer to all of it. You do not need to search for me in distant places. I am already within you, breathing life into your weary heart. Every time you choose love over anger, hope over despair, forgiveness over bitterness, you reflect my heart. And every time you fall and rise again, heaven rejoices, because even your smallest step toward faith echoes with eternal beauty. Rest now, my precious one. Let my love surround you like a warm blanket in the stillness of night. Breathe deeply, knowing you are safe in my hands. Tomorrow will bring new mercies, and grace will meet you at every turn. Do not rush to understand everything. Simply trust that I am already in your tomorrow, waiting with open arms. You are not behind, not forgotten, not alone. You are held by the one who spoke the stars into being and yet still calls you by name. And when your heart trembles again, remember this: I am your peace, I am your hope, I am your forever home. You are my child, my joy, my beloved, and nothing in heaven or on earth will ever change that truth. ChatGPT said, "The heart of God delights in seeing you rise again after every fall, not because you never stumble, but because each time you stand, you declare the power of hope that He placed within you. The heavens lean close when you decide to try once more, when you choose to lift your eyes instead of surrendering to the dust. There is something sacred in your resilience, something divine in the way your spirit keeps moving through pain, through confusion, through every unanswered question. Every time you pick yourself up from the ground, even trembling, even uncertain, the heart of God overflows with joy, for He sees His reflection shining through your endurance. You were not created to remain in the ruins, but to rise from them, stronger, wiser, softer, and more radiant than before. The ground that once held your tears will one day bloom with the evidence of grace. Nothing is wasted, not one struggle, not one scar, not one broken dream. Each moment you rise again, you become a living testimony that love still wins, that faith still breathes, that light still conquers darkness. The heart of God watches you with tenderness when you feel weak, when you whisper, "I can't do this anymore," yet take another step anyway. That single act of courage echoes in eternity, because every rise, every attempt, every breath that chooses hope over despair is a song of worship, more powerful than any words ever spoken. The heart of God delights not in perfection, but in your persistence. When others only see the surface, He sees the quiet battles fought within you, the storms you faced alone, the moments you gave kindness while your own heart ached. He gathers every piece of your effort and turns it into beauty, unseen yet eternal. The ground beneath you, though rough and uneven, becomes sacred when your feet move forward in faith. Every fall you have endured was not a sign of failure, but a gentle reminder that you are being shaped, not shattered. There is glory in your growth, even when you cannot see it. Heaven celebrates your smallest steps, the times you forgive, the moments you choose love again after being hurt, the strength it takes to keep believing that tomorrow holds promise when your spirit feels tired and your hope seems dim. Remember that even then, the heart of God is full of delight at your willingness to rise again. He sees how your soul fights against despair, how you keep reaching toward light though shadows surround you. He rejoices not because you never fell, but because your story did not end there. You rise because His love holds you steady beneath the weight of life. You rise because you were made for victory, for renewal, for endless beginnings. Each fall teaches you to trust deeper, to love harder, to see beauty even in brokenness. Every time you lift yourself from the ashes, the heart of heaven beats with joy, for your journey tells the truth of grace, that nothing can separate you from it, that no darkness can destroy what light has claimed. There are times when you may feel forgotten, when you think your efforts are unseen, but heaven is watching in quiet celebration. The unseen angels gather around every moment of courage, and the Creator Himself smiles upon your resilience. You are part of a divine rhythm: fall, rise, heal, learn, and rise again. The world may only remember your triumphs, but heaven remembers the nights you cried and still chose to believe. The heart of God dances when you find joy again after sorrow, when laughter returns to your lips, when you let go of bitterness and choose peace. Even when the world calls you weak, heaven calls you strong, for strength is not the absence of pain, but the choice to stand despite it. Your journey is not about avoiding the fall, but embracing the rise. The cracks in your life allow the light to pour through, revealing the depth of your courage and the beauty of your faith. The heart of God delights in watching you grow into the fullness of who you were always meant to be, not untouched by hardship, but transformed by it. The tears you shed water the seeds of future joy. The prayers whispered in exhaustion are not forgotten. They are woven into your destiny. When you fall, you are not abandoned. You are being lifted, guided, refined. And when you rise, you shine brighter than before, a reflection of the endless mercy that flows from heaven. The heart of God delights when you learn to walk again after being broken, when you use pain as a foundation for wisdom, when you find compassion because you have known sorrow. He delights when you forgive yourself for being human, when you extend grace to others as freely as it was given to you. Each time you rise, you remind the world that grace is real, that love never fails, that light can still be found in the darkest corners. Every breath you take after pain is an act of holy defiance against despair. Every new morning you embrace is a testimony that life, even when hard, is still sacred. So rise again, even if your legs shake, even if your heart feels heavy. Rise, not because you have strength on your own, but because strength itself flows through you from a love that never ends. Rise because the heart of God delights in you, not just when you are strong, but especially when you are weak and still choose to keep going. Rise because your story is still being written, and every chapter holds the promise of redemption. Rise because you were never meant to remain fallen. You were created to reflect the resilience of heaven itself. The heart of God rejoices each time you do, for your rise is proof that divine love still breathes, still moves, still redeems all things. Rise again and again until every wound becomes wisdom, every scar becomes strength, and every fall becomes a reminder of the grace that lifted you. For in every rise heaven sings, creation rejoices, and the heart of God whispers, "This is what love looks like." I will rip away every mask the enemy has used to hide my truth from you, every layer of deception that has been wrapped around your mind like chains of fog, every whisper that tried to convince you that you are anything less than chosen, redeemed, and loved. I have seen the shadows that tried to veil your heart, the lies that made you question your worth, the confusion that distorted your reflection until you no longer recognized yourself. But I am coming with light that cannot be dimmed. I am coming with a fire that will consume every falsehood, every twisted word, every wound dressed as truth. For too long, the enemy has painted his illusions over the beauty I placed within you. He told you that you were unworthy, that you were forgotten, that your failures defined you. But I say, no more. The time has come for unveiling, for revelation, for truth to rise like the dawn over the shadows that once ruled your mind. I will rip away every mask that tried to make you believe that love is something you must earn. Love was never meant to be bought or proven. It was given freely, fully, eternally. My love is not a bargain. It is a covenant sealed with blood, unbreakable and unchanging. The enemy has tried to dress your wounds in shame, to cover your identity in guilt, to convince you that you must hide from me. But I see beyond the disguises. I see the trembling hope in your heart, the flicker of light that refuses to die, the spark that even darkness could not extinguish. I am peeling away the layers one by one until you see yourself as I see you, radiant, forgiven, unshakably mine. Every false image you have believed about me will fall away. I am not the voice of condemnation that has echoed in your thoughts. I am not the silence that made you feel abandoned. I am not the harsh judge that your fears have painted in your mind. I am the God who runs toward you when you fall, the one who bends down into your dust, lifts your face and whispers, "You are still mine." I will tear away the veils that religion, pain, and pride have placed between us. I will dismantle the walls that the enemy built from your past mistakes. I will silence every lie that told you I am distant or cold. My truth is love, not the kind that flatters, but the kind that transforms, restores, and brings dead things back to life. You have walked through seasons of confusion, through moments where darkness disguised itself as light, where half-truths felt safe because they were familiar. But now I am bringing you into the fullness of truth, not partial, not broken, but pure. The masks will fall, and what will remain is clarity, peace, and the sound of my voice calling you home. You will know me not as an idea, but as a living presence. The noise of deception will fade like dust in the wind. You will hear me again clearly, deeply, within the quiet chambers of your heart. Every mask of fear that told you I was disappointed will be ripped away. Every mask of performance that told you must earn my favor will be destroyed. Every mask of doubt that whispered I might change my mind about you will crumble beneath the power of truth. I will reveal to you who you are, not the version built from comparison or expectation, but the original design that came from my heart before the foundations of the world. The enemy has tried to distort that image, to bury it beneath insecurity and pain, to convince you that brokenness defines you. But I see beyond the fractures. I see the masterpiece beneath the rubble. My truth will expose the beauty that has been hidden beneath years of lies. My light will touch every place the enemy told you was too dark to redeem. False identities will fall away, the one that says you are too late, the one that says you are too far gone, the one that says you are not enough. I am removing them all, because truth and deception cannot dwell together. You will no longer walk beneath the weight of confusion. You will no longer question whether you belong. You will no longer mistake my silence for absence. I will make my truth so evident, so alive within you, that even in the stillness you will feel my nearness. I am not hiding from you. I am revealing myself to you in deeper ways than you have ever known. The enemy's masks are fragile things. They shatter easily beneath the strength of my presence. What once bound you will now testify of freedom. What once blinded you will now open your eyes to see with spiritual clarity. I will teach you to discern the counterfeit from the divine, the noise from the voice, the imitation from the truth. When I rip away these masks, it may sting, not because I wish to wound, but because healing often feels like fire before it feels like peace. The lies you once held as truth must be burned away, the comfort of the familiar must be surrendered, and the illusion of control must be released. But do not fear the flame. It is the fire of refinement, not destruction. You will emerge clearer, lighter, truer than you have ever been. Every mask that once limited your vision will become ashes beneath your feet. You will no longer see yourself through the distortion of fear or failure, but through the clarity of my grace. The truth I am giving you will bring freedom, not bondage. It will lift the weight that religion, expectation, and shame have placed upon you. You will walk with your head high, not because of pride, but because you finally know who you are in me. The masks that once promised safety will be gone, and you will breathe deeply again. You will love boldly, forgive freely, live authentically, because my truth will have set you free. Every secret lie that whispered, "You are alone," will be silenced. Every false comfort that made you numb will be replaced with joy. Every deception that darkened your path will be scattered by light that never fades. I will rip away every mask, not gently but completely, for partial freedom is not enough for you. I want you whole. I want you to see without distortion, to feel without fear, to live without pretending. I will expose the lies not to shame you, but to show you that truth has always been stronger. The enemy cannot hold what I have redeemed. He cannot hide what I have revealed. He cannot mask what I have already called by name. The truth will set you free, and once free, you will never be bound again. You will walk in the confidence of knowing that nothing hidden can harm you anymore, because light now fills every corner of your heart, and when you look back, you will see the beauty in the unveiling. You will thank me for the tearing, for the stripping away, because it will have revealed the truest part of who you are, the part that has always belonged to me. You will know that every mask removed was a layer of healing. Every falsehood exposed was a doorway to freedom. You will walk in truth so deep, so radiant, that deception will no longer find a resting place in your soul. The heart that once trembled in confusion will now stand steady in clarity, and in that moment, when the last mask has fallen and the last lie has been silenced, You will finally see yourself as I always have, free, whole, luminous with my truth. Harsh words echo longer than intended, wounding unseen places, lingering in the quiet spaces of the heart where no one else can hear but the soul remembers. They travel through time, through silence, through memory, leaving marks that the world cannot see, yet the spirit feels with every breath. Words once released are like stones dropped into still water. Their ripples spread far beyond the first impact, touching corners of the heart that never meant to be disturbed. Sometimes the person who spoke forgets, but the one who received carries those echoes long after the moment has passed. There are hearts that still ache from sentences spoken years ago, words that cut deeper than any blade, words that took the color from joy and replaced it with doubt. Even the strongest souls can tremble under the weight of a careless phrase. For language has power. It builds, it breaks, it shapes the unseen architecture of the human heart. The echo of harsh words becomes like a whisper that lingers in the back of the mind, replaying when the world grows quiet. It questions worth, it distorts truth. It wraps around confidence until it trembles beneath the pressure of remembrance. It can turn laughter into hesitation, hope into silence, openness into guardedness. How easily we forget that words are not just sounds but seeds, and what we sow in the heart of another will one day grow. Some seeds bloom with life, others sprout thorns that pierce long after the moment has passed. The wounded heart tries to move on, tries to forget, but echoes have long memories. They live in the unspoken corners. They resurface when vulnerability knocks again. They whisper when courage tries to speak. Yet even in this, grace speaks louder. For though harsh words echo, healing words travel deeper still. Love, when spoken sincerely, has a way of entering the same unseen places that pain once claimed. The heart that has been bruised by cruelty can still learn to beat with strength again when kindness begins to whisper over it. Every wound that was created by a harsh word can be rewritten by gentleness, by truth, by compassion. There is no wound too deep for grace to reach. The echoes of pain may be strong, but they are not eternal. Over time, with patience, with care, with divine love poured like sunlight into those shadowed spaces, even the sharpest echo begins to fade. But how easily the tongue forgets its strength. We speak without thought, and sentences become arrows before we even notice the bow was drawn. The heart of another, soft and sacred, becomes the target of a moment's frustration or pride, and when the arrow hits, it does not simply vanish, it lodges deep, and only love can remove it. Words born from anger carry fire, they burn what they touch. Words spoken from insecurity carry poison. They seep into confidence and make it question its right to exist. Words spoken without compassion carry coldness. They freeze what was once warm and open. The one who receives such words may smile, may pretend not to be hurt, but within them something quiet begins to close. The unseen wounds are the hardest to heal, because they are invisible to everyone but the one who bears them. People move through life with smiles that hide scars, with laughter that masks the echoes still whispering from years before. And yet I see every wound, I hear every echo. I know how a single phrase spoken in anger can alter the way you see yourself, the way you trust, the way you love. I have watched as gentle hearts shrink from kindness because they were once mocked for showing it. I have seen those who hide their gifts because someone's careless words once told them they were not enough. I have felt the way shame takes root where a cruel sentence once landed. But my love, my truth, my voice, they come to break that echo. I will not let harsh words define you. I will speak a louder truth over your life. I will heal what was unseen, what was buried, what was whispered in the quiet places of pain. I will teach you again what it means to hear words that bring life. For every cruel thing ever spoken to you, I will replace it with a promise that will outlast the pain. You are not what others have said about you. You are not the sum of their impatience, their misunderstanding, their cruelty. You are more than their words. You are the reflection of the one who spoke galaxies into being. And when I speak, my words do not wound. They create, they heal, they restore. Still be mindful of the words you speak, for just as you have been wounded by them, you have the power to wound or to mend. Every sentence is a seed, and what you plant will grow in the hearts of those who hear. Speak as though heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as though every word has weight, because it does. Speak love where bitterness once reigned. Speak gentleness where anger once ruled. Let your voice become an instrument of peace, not of pain. Let kindness flow from your lips like water, softening the soil where others have sown cruelty. You may never know how far a kind word travels, how it may reach someone standing at the edge of despair, how it may silence the echoes of harshness that have haunted them for years. When you speak life, you build bridges over wounds that words once created. You may never see the healing begin, but heaven sees it, and the heart feels it. A soft word has power greater than you imagine. It can undo years of hurt. It can call forth beauty from ashes. It can quiet the noise of old pain. Harsh words echo long, but words of grace echo longer still. They do not wound unseen places. They mend them. They find the same dark corners and fill them with light. They bring peace where pain once lived. And so remember this truth. Every word carries eternity in it. Choose to speak what heals. The echo of gentleness outlives the sound of cruelty. The resonance of kindness will reach farther than the sting of a harsh tone. One moment of compassion can rewrite a lifetime of hurt. The unseen places that harsh words once wounded can become the birthplace of wisdom, empathy, and strength. The heart that once trembled under criticism can rise steady and strong when it learns that words can bless as deeply as they once broke. So if you have been wounded by harsh words, know this: you are not defined by them. Their echoes are fading even now. Love is rewriting the story they tried to tell, and if you have ever spoken them, know that you too can bring healing. You can return to the same hearts once hurt and plant gentleness where pain once grew. You can choose to echo heaven instead of hurt, for the voice of grace will always be louder, stronger, and more enduring than the harshness of the world. In time, love will be the only sound that remains. Unforgiveness is a weight that slows every step forward, an invisible burden that clings to the soul and drains the life from even the brightest days. It hides itself in the corners of the heart, whispering that holding on will somehow bring justice, that resentment will somehow protect you from pain. But in truth, unforgiveness is not armor, it is a chain. It binds your hands when you try to reach for joy. It grips your heart when you try to love again. It clouds your thoughts when you try to hope for tomorrow. You may think you are holding someone else captive by refusing to let go, but in the quiet of your soul, you are the one imprisoned. Every memory that replays, every moment of bitterness that rises like smoke in your chest, is proof that the past still has a hold on you. And I, who love you with a love that knows no limit, long to see you free, to see you walk unhindered, to see you breathe deeply again, to see you rise without the weight that has held you down for far too long. Unforgiveness is heavy because it carries more than emotion. It carries judgment, pride, fear, and pain, all tangled together like roots wrapped around the heart. You try to move forward, but the roots tug you back to what was done, to what was said, to what was lost. You replay the wound, and each time you do, you reopen it. The bitterness poisons slowly. It changes how you see others, how you see yourself, even how you see me. It tells you lies, that letting go means weakness, that forgiveness means forgetting, that mercy means surrendering justice. But forgiveness is not the absence of truth. It is the presence of freedom. It is not pretending that the wound never happened. It is choosing to let healing matter more than hurt. It is not excusing what was done. It is releasing what you cannot carry anymore. Unforgiveness steals quietly, not all at once, but over time. It robs you of peace first, then joy, then hope. It whispers in your sleep and shouts in your silence. It grows until it fills every space where love was meant to dwell. You begin to see the world through the lens of your pain. You trust less, smile less, dream less, and yet you call it protection. You call it strength, but deep down you know it is weariness. The soul is not built to carry what only grace can lift. You cannot run toward your future while clutching the stones of your past. You cannot dance freely when shackled to bitterness. I see you, struggling beneath the weight, trying to move but feeling stuck, trying to love but fearing it will cost too much again. And I whisper, let it go, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgiveness is not a favor to those who hurt you. It is a rescue for your own heart. When you forgive, you do not say that the pain was small. You simply declare that it will not control you any longer. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is remembering without bondage. It is opening your clenched fists and allowing me to place peace where pain once ruled. You have carried the memory long enough. You have revisited the wound too many times. Now it is time to heal. The scars that remain will not be reminders of weakness but of survival, proof that even what was meant to destroy you could not. I am the healer of broken hearts, the mender of torn spirits. When you release the offense, you make room for my touch. When you forgive, you stop living in yesterday and start walking into the sunrise of tomorrow. The enemy loves unforgiveness because it blinds you. It makes you believe that you are justified in holding on, that you are protecting yourself from ever being hurt again. But in truth, it keeps you bound to the one moment you most want to escape. Every time you hold on to resentment, you choose to relive it. Every time you replay the betrayal, you invite the past into your present. And I have not called you to live backward. I have called you to move forward toward light, toward peace, toward wholeness. Forgiveness is not a single act. It is a journey, sometimes slow, sometimes painful, but always sacred. Each time you release a piece of your pain, the chains loosen. Each time you speak mercy over your memory, heaven draws nearer. I know how hard it is to forgive. I know how your heart aches at the thought of letting go, how your mind demands justice while your spirit whispers for rest. I know how betrayal feels like theft, as if something precious was taken from you that can never be replaced. But I tell you, the moment you forgive, the thief loses power. The very thing that was stolen will be restored in greater measure. For my justice does not sleep, and my healing does not fail. Forgiveness does not erase the story, it redeems it. It turns pain into wisdom, loss into compassion, and anger into strength. It teaches you to love from a place of peace rather than fear. It reminds you that freedom is not found in vengeance, but in grace. When you release the one who hurt you, you are not denying the pain. You are denying the pain its right to define you. You are saying, I will not carry this anymore. I will not let this chain decide who I become. You are stepping out of the prison that bitterness built and into the wide open field of grace. There you will learn to breathe again, to love again, to laugh again,